Well, thank you. I appreciate that introduction. I'm Deidre Henderson, Lieutenant Governor of the state of Utah, and I bring the greetings of Governor Spencer Cox. He wishes he could be here today, but you get the B team today. I guess that's not too bad. Just a little bit about me, for those of you who don't know, I live in Spanish Fork. I've lived there since 1998. Kind of moved there by accident after my husband finished college. We moved back to Utah. We had 2 babies. We couldn't afford anything. And we were pretty darn poor coming out of college. And we bought a house in Spanish Fork because it was the only thing we could afford. And found out that my pioneer ancestors settled Spanish Fork and were buried in the graveyard there, and I had no idea until I moved there. So we were privileged to raise our 5 children in Spanish Fork. My baby is now 19 years old and just moved to Cedar City to start SUU. I served in the Utah State Senate for 8 years before becoming Lieutenant Governor. I was elected in 2012 and served through the end of 2020. And loved serving in the state senate, loved representing my little piece of the state. But what I've loved the very most, and this was just touched on, what I've loved the very most about being lieutenant governor is the whole state is my little piece of the state. I'm a firm believer that you cannot govern from Capitol Hill. That's true in Utah, and it's true in Washington, D.C. You cannot govern from Capitol Hill. You have to get out to those who are living and breathing and working and dealing with the things, the policies and the things that are coming from Capitol Hill. You have to be able to do that. Over the weekend, I've got this friend who is a California state senator. She was in the California Assembly, became a state senator a few years ago, and we've known each other through these positions for a number of years. She's one of, I guess, I don't want to bring politics into it, but maybe being a Republican in the California legislature might be a little bit like being a Democrat in the Utah legislature. I don't know. But she represents Southern California, and she's a very conservative Republican. And she tagged me in a Facebook post over the weekend, and she said, Democrats have banned state-funded travel to the following states, and that includes sports teams. They recently added 2 states to the list. Sorry, Deidre M. Henderson. So now Utah has joined this list of 22 states that are banned by California from state-funded travel. Now, I don't know what all the reasons are. I didn't get into it, and it's frankly okay. I'm not offended, because California, in so many ways, is a shining example of how not to do things. In fact, California has one of the highest retail energy prices in the nation. And that is saying something when energy inflation is up, as of last month, almost 33% over the previous 12 months. So our friends in the West, to the west of us, they can keep their state-funded travel. And here in the state of Utah, we will keep doing things our way. And that includes energy production, among many other things. But making sure that our people can afford to heat and cool their homes and drive their cars. Utah is a national leader in energy research, innovation, and development, and we intend to stay that way. Now, we have, there's a secret, I think, to our success here in the state of Utah. And one of those secrets is that we take a collaborative approach, a pragmatic, forward-thinking, and realistic approach to problem solving. It's just how we do things in our state, and I'm really proud of that. One such example of a collaborative project, one that will change the energy landscape in the state of Utah. This was a team effort between state, county leaders here in the Basin, the Ute Indian tribe, and our federal delegation that overcame mountains of red tape and opposition from outside groups, is the Uintah Basin Railway Project. After the U.S. Forest Service gave us the go-ahead just recently, Duchesne County Commissioner Greg Miles put it perfectly when he said, "Baby, it's coming." Now, I think, is Greg, are you here? Oh, there you are. I think we need to give a round of applause to Greg and everybody else who helped this monumental effort. This project will define the next century in the Uintah Basin and become the most extensive rail infrastructure project in the United States since the 1970s. Not only will the railway transport the basin's energy products more quickly out to the market, but it will ship all kinds of goods, take hundreds of trucks off the road, stabilize the boom and bust economic cycles that plague rural communities, and improve economic opportunities for individuals, families, and businesses, which is a key priority for the governors and my administration. From oil and gas in the basin to critical mineral extraction near the Great Salt Lake, our administration is committed to empowering responsible, market-driven development and transportation of our energy resources that power our economy. We're also committed to investments in emerging energy technologies such as green hydrogen, energy storage, energy efficiency, carbon capture, and air quality research. Our administration is determined to support growth and diversity in our energy sector. We believe that our job is to ensure energy products benefit the state without the needless burdens that stifle innovation and drive up costs. In the State Energy Plan, which you'll hear about more today at this conference, we put our vision onto paper. And in practice, we're working really hard to make this a reality. One of the things that we would like to do is we'd like to see massive reform of the bureaucratic mess that is NEPA, the NEPA process, that unnecessarily hinders the production of oil, gas, and critical mineral, and makes energy unnecessarily expensive for people. So we've been working really hard to proactively reform and improve our relationships with federal agencies so that we can be part of the solution and have a seat at the table. But we're also standing up against federal overreach. In fact, just this last week, we filed suit against the U.S. Department of the Interior for its abuse of the Antiquities Act in its monuments designation for Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante National Monuments. Thank you. This lawsuit aims to compel the federal government to bring the state to the table when far-off Washington bureaucrats try to make massive land use decisions for our state. We know the Antiquities Act wasn't meant for unfunded designations, which, combined, are more than 2.5 times the size of the state of Delaware, without proper funding or proper resources to adequately manage those lands or protect the antiquities. Utahns are the true experts when it comes to how to manage our public lands responsibly. I believe that we can get this right. We can work together with the federal government to maintain access to our natural resources and preserve the natural beauty of the sacred sites throughout the state. We are a big believer in the state of Utah in the power of and we will continue to look for ways to bolster solutions that yield long-term results and care for our natural resources in the Utah way. With your support and continued effort, we can do it together, and we can do it today. Baby, it's coming. Thank you.